Speakers. Okay, welcome to the stream, everybody. Hello and happy Wednesday. Today is December 4th, 2019. It's like 12:01, so we're mostly on time. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know what I want to do today. The last time we were here, we wrapped up a project on playing Reversi as a Blazor app using Monte Carlo tree search as the AI to play against you, and that was a whole lot of fun. And I still need to blog about that, so let's put a little list together here about what we might do today. Blog about Othello game. I am also interested in having the AI be better. Right now, when it does rollouts, it makes random moves. And instead of just making random moves, you can do a whole lot better by making better moves to start with, allegedly. So I think that's like one place I want to explore as well. So improve AI by not making random rollouts, but being smarter. Oop, now we're going to call it being smart because I want it to fit on one line. The next thing. It's been a long time since I've graduated school and I've sort of been putting it off, but one thing that I've wanted to do is blog about my experience of going back to school. I feel like a lot of key points have come up recently that I've been coming back to over and over. And so I want to consider like getting those thoughts down. Maybe not finishing a blog post, but at least getting the thoughts down. Blog or ideas down for why grad school was a good idea. Yeah, the recurring themes here that have sort of been coming up is like feedback is critical, which you just don't get at a lot of companies these days. Learning how to study well. Being around other people who are learning. Doing hard stuff. Like these four things. And maybe learning how to study well is the thing that sort of falls out of the rest of these. But these first three have been coming up over and over and over again in my life recently, and so I want to write that stuff down and share it. What else can we do? We can just play some games. Probably not actually going to do that. Just kidding. All right, another big thing is I have been talking to a lot of people about data engineering lately. So I am a data engineer, and one of the things that is becoming quite obvious to me is that the tools that we use internally where I work. Damn it! I always forget to set up the stream info. The tools that we use internally. Happy Friday. I should just have it warn me. Happy Wednesday. Starting something new. Save. Is trying to decide what to work on for the holidays. And one of the things that has really occurred to me is that, the tools that we use internally, we built from scratch, and they're not like industry standard tools. And so, unfortunately, when you talk to other people, they're like, I don't get it. I don't understand. And so one thing that I want to do is work on the way that I talk about the things, and I also want to learn about some of the more industry standard tools. Off the top of my head is like Apache Kafka, Apache Spark, those sorts of things, and then maybe a couple of very large store data stores as well. So maybe Cassandra or something along those lines, with the idea of being able to compare what we have done internally to things that exist in the industry, so that hopefully the conversations go a little bit better. So learn some industry standard data engineering tools. What else? Those are all good. Those are all a good start. I think for the sake of things, I really just want to get this one down because I want to write these things down before they leave my head. I would really like to blog about the Othello game as well to get those written, get it off my list, get it out there so that people can find out about it. Maybe start coming to the stream. And then this whole point about improving the AI, where this is really going is implement something like AlphaGo, or not AlphaGo, but is AlphaZero. Okay. Speaking of AlphaZero, the folks from AlphaZero just happened to release a new system last week, I think, or the week before. That's really crazy. It plays Go, chess, and whatever the third game was, shogi or something like that. In addition, the exact same agent with no modifications whatsoever also plays something like 50 Atari games, all at superhuman level. One agent plays all of the games. And that's incredible. Like, absolutely incredible. Okay. Improve AI by not making random rollouts. Okay, anyway. All right, so let's go ahead and do these two. We're just going to move this up. All right. Let's pull up the stuff. Please don't have been working on work. Thank you. File. Yeah, schedule is about to change as well. For the holidays, I have taken off basically the entire month of December, and my plan is to come down here and stream for basically the entire month of December. My hours are going to be significantly earlier than they are now. My kids go to school, and they're at school by 9, so I ought to be in the basement by about 9:30. I will be streaming until I have to go pick them up, which on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays is going to be around noon, and on Tuesdays and Wednesdays I go pick them up around 1. So we're gonna get a lot of work done. Let's go ahead and close this. Close window. That's not what I wanted at all. Well, that's cool. New stuff. Close. File, close folder. File, open. More. Here it is. Okay. Let's go with hexo. New. I don't know what musings from what I really learned in grad school. And then let's bring up a new one, and we're going to go with the old Hexo server. And then we're going to open up a new incognito window. We're going to close these so I don't accidentally show them. On here, we're going to go with local host 4000. There we go. Blog. What I really learned in grad school. Nothing. Okay. What I really learned in grad school. Blog. All of this. Don't need this. Don't need this. I do need to publish this. Okay, an awesome visitor pointed out that this performance bump was not due to better alignment of 4-byte values, but was instead due to better cache alignment. What does that mean exactly? The C# compiler attempts to help with the exact issue described above and adds padding to your struct in order to guarantee alignments of 4 bytes. So when I thought we had reduced our 20-byte structure to 8 bytes, in fact, it had only shrunk it down to 12 bytes. The reordering of the fields eliminated the need for this padding and achieved the actual 8 bytes struct size. This results in better cache access and accounts for the majority of the performance bump. I'm going to go ahead and just publish this because I haven't done that yet. Or did I? Blog. Major edit. Major edit. Okay, let's see if that's on the live site. Oh, good, it is. Okay. Okay, perfect. What I really learned. That's done. Okay. Recently, I've been doing a lot of mentorship, particularly around career growth. If you would like some mentorship, I'm happy to help however I can. Please reach out through codingcoach.io and I'll see what I can do for you. And I'll try my best to help you with what you're working on. Okay. Now let's go to Coding Coach. Codingcoach.io. Mentors. I think if you click on, there we go. I don't understand how the Coding Coach website works, to be honest with you. It's like sometimes I show up on here and sometimes I just don't. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Many of the questions have had a consistent theme lately, which is how do you know that you're doing the right thing? I have lots of thoughts on this. But for me, it comes down to a few primary things that I feel like are pretty cross-cutting, and something that I feel like I have lots of thoughts on this, but for me it comes down to a few primary things that I feel like are pretty cross-cutting, and something that I feel like I only recently realized during grad school. In May, I graduated from the Georgia Institute of Technology OMSCS program with a master's in computer science with a concentration on machine learning. That's all well and good, but why did that help? I initially went to grad school because I was learning machine learning and other AI techniques in my spare time doing self-study. I ran into a lot of trouble as the problems... Hey, what's up? What are we doing today? So actually I'm sort of trying to decide that. Right now what I'm doing is getting some ideas down about this blog post that I've been wanting to write about what I learned in grad school. So in mentorship, a bunch of like key things have been coming up. These first three keep coming up over and over and over again. And I just want to write down some quick notes about this. I don't think I'm actually going to get to the point of like publishing this today. And then outside of that, my schedule is changing because I took off most of the month of December. And so I'm sort of trying to figure out what I want to do on stream for the next month or so. These were just some really quick ideas, but I don't really know just yet. If you have something that you think would be interesting, I'd be happy to hear about that. But right now I'm just getting some ideas down. I think I'm going to move into bullet point form in just a second because I don't need to write the whole thing. Alright, I ran into a lot of trouble as the problems... Have you heard about WebAssembly? I might have. Let's take a look. Goodness me, look at this blog post that I wrote about WebAssembly. Build your first thing. This was a long time ago. This is back in 2016, but I was actually referencing it, and this is one of the cases where this stuff came up today. Which was, this blog post, like, in a sense, like, really changed my life. Completely just by chance. Like, I sat down one weekend and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to learn this WebAssembly thing. It sounds cool. Maybe we can do something cool with it, you know, at work or whatever. And so I sat down and tried to grind away on it. And I ran into just problems after problem after problem. It was really sort of frustrating. And so I started comparing it to like all of these other really frustrating things that I've had to do. And then got to the point of writing like the most basic thing you could conceivably write, and then giving a walkthrough on like how to turn this C code into something that will actually like compile and do stuff. So this was WASM, this was ASM.js, and then later on we actually show how to do the same thing for something more interesting. But anyway, so you can read the blog post if you want to. It's on my website. That's not the interesting stuff. The interesting stuff is that this blog post is pretty bland. It's something that I literally did in a weekend. But what ended up happening was somebody read this in Atlanta, where I lived at the time, and was like, "Hey, will you come talk at our monthly meetup about WebAssembly?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Sounds good." So I go to this meetup, and I didn't know anybody there at all. And it was my first time like seeing a bunch of these people. I won't say it was like a completely packed house, but there was definitely like 60 or 70 people there. And it turns out that in the crowd was somebody who was organizing the Connect.tech conference in Atlanta. And after my talk, came up to me and was like, "We would really love for you to come and talk at our conference. Like, this is perfect content for the sort of thing we're going after here. It's like perfect on one of our tracks." And I was like, "Yeah, sounds good." So I go to this conference and I speak at the conference. And after I'm done speaking at the conference, which again, maybe 40 or 50 people in the audience, it wasn't really that big of a talk. Some guys showed up and they were like, "Hey, we're starting this coding boot camp, and we really like your teaching style. We've read through some of your work, and we really like the way that you break concepts down and make them super simple. Any chance you'd be willing to teach at our boot camp?" And I was just like, "I don't know, maybe. Let's talk about it more." I did end up working for them. It had nothing to do with web development. I ended up being their interview trainer. But it was just this crazy string of events where it's like I wrote a blog post. And that's what it turned into. It turned into me giving a talk at a meetup, which I had never done. Me giving a talk at a conference, which I had never done. It really was. Yeah, right. It really was a keystone. It ended up me getting into like being paid for doing interviewing. "Hey, what's up, Rambling Geek? Good to see you." And like now I do all of these things. Like I am an interview engineer for Carrot. I have done a number of other boot camps where I do interview training for them. I've written a ton about interviewing. And then even still, all of this stuff has led me down this path of like eventually getting interested in doing the streaming thing, and the streaming thing leads you to some other new stuff, and it's crazy. And now I've got like writing gigs, and it's just, yeah. So this is part of the advice, which is just like the do hard things part of the advice. Where is that? Yeah, the do hard stuff, and then just put it out there. It's like you never know what little bitty thing is going to like capture someone's attention and just open up doors for you. And so people ask me all the time, like, "Oh, should I work on this? Should I work on this?" And I'm like, if it's interesting to you, then work on it. And if you're good at like doing the thing and then putting it out there, you just never know. Like anything, any little thing, even the things that you think are stupid that you put on your resume, that one project that you worked on could just be the thing that like catches this recruiter's attention, and all of a sudden they want like, they just want to hire you and have more conversations with you and learn more about you and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, that's the gist of the advice here, which is just do stuff, And so that's one of the stories that I want to include in this blog post here is like, you just really never know. Like you just have to do things, and then whatever happens. Yeah. Actually, let me just sort of move into bullet point form and wrap this up, and then I'm going to move on. All right. Initially, I went to grad school because I ran into a lot of trouble as the problems got more difficult and kept running into walls that I could not seem to get past for the life of me. It was extremely frustrating. Okay. Bullets. Alright, it was extremely frustrating. I went to grad school to be around other people. Oh, wait. The people around me were either not interested in the problems I was working on, or they didn't have the skills to help me. The next one, and for some reason this thing loves complaining. The next one is I initially went to grad school because I wanted to be surrounded by people who were learning the same stuff as me. What ended up happening? Alright. I was not disappointed. There were hundreds or even thousands of people I came in contact with that were willing to work with me. Being around people with different skill sets than you is a good thing. Or else the only one learning is the one who doesn't know the most. Okay, the next thing is actually that's probably pretty good there. That was the initial reason for going to grad school. The second thing, so this is be around people who are learning stuff as well. Okay, the next one is do hard stuff. I often get asked if this project that someone wants to try is going to help their resume. And I can't answer that. Do stuff that is interesting to you. Even if you think it's not interesting to other people. As much as possible, put the stuff you're working on out into the world. Oh wait, no. Don't just do the to-do app tutorials. Do something with the thing. It shows that you're not just implementing what you're told to, you're applying it to new areas. Failure is always an option. Okay. And then the last one is feedback is critical. Feedback is critical. Of all the classes I took, the one I disliked the most during the time turned out to be the most valuable so far. When you are deep in self-study, it is very difficult to tell whether or not you truly understand something or not. Find some people who are willing to tell you what you're doing well and what you need to work on. That one's so critical. A lot of people don't get this, even in places where it matters, like your job. Even though your pay is tied to your performance to some degree, it can be very difficult to get the feedback on what you can improve on. Working without feedback is like wandering around, stumbling around in the dark and hoping you don't break anything. Feedback is a flashlight. It won't give you a full picture of everything that's going on, but it will help guide you. Ask for feedback. Reference to old blog post. And demand all the time. Take it with a grain of salt and ignore any toxicity. Okay, that's all I got. Okay, last one is learning how to study well. Okay. Feedback. Okay, directed, personalized feedback will help guide you. But sometimes you do have to continue on by yourself. Find other sources of feedback. Define success metrics. Write down, I don't know what's going on with my laptop is apparently being stepped on by my dog or something. Let's just quit, exit. There we go. All right, write down, find other sources of feedbacks, define success metrics, write down the nuggets you find no matter how small. Write down the stuff you think you might not understand well enough as you go, because you'll forget it. Actually, these you're going to forget less, so these are the things that really stand out. Okay, so you're going to write down the stuff as you go, and then I want to tell the story about A-star search and how freaking hard it is. So that was actually a good story. I had been studying AI like on my own for a very long time. I mean, like, God, almost a decade, like maybe even 15 years. Like I started like before I ever went to college for undergrad, writing tools to do this and that, and I fell in love with A-star search. And when I got into when I got into undergrad, you know, it's very cut and dry. They give you really simple problems, you know, like book type problems. In fact, I had this book before I ever went to college. Oh, look, of course it's green screen, so it looks black, but it's a green book. Do you have a Hello World stream or blog post for AI? No, I don't, but that's a good idea. Maybe that's what we'll do. But yeah, to sort of make a long story short, I had been learning it. I started with this book, and in this book is all these examples about, like, here's how you get started, and here's some really trivial situations, and it includes all of the classic problems. I mean, all of them, right? And the one that I'm going to focus on is finding directions. Okay? And when I say finding directions, I mean, like, going to, like, maps.google.com and saying something like, I don't know, Austin, Texas, and then going directions and saying, like, give me a famous landmark in a faraway city, to the Space Needle in Seattle, Washington. Okay? Right? You see how fast that happened? Like, that was ridiculously fast. Right? And I'm driving by a car right here, and it's 2,000 miles. Crap all. Why won't it just give me the directions? We don't have the most recent timetables. That's fine. I just want directions. Here you go. And it tells you all of this stuff, right? Like, this is how you get from here to here. And it's got all of these different, like, you know, points of interest and all of this crap. And it's like, that happens ridiculously fast. So I thought, you know, hey, once you know A-star search, it'd be easy to do. And in the book, they have this really famous example called the Romania map. If we go to images, AI. This is the Romania map, right? This is the classic example out of the book. Just like this. This is a screenshot. This is a page from the book. Come on. Everybody hates pop-ups, and you didn't even give me an X to get rid of it. There we go. And so you write A-star search, and for this, it doesn't matter which two places you choose, it's going to be fast. Like, it's going to be ridiculously fast. because there's just nothing in the way, right? And when I went to undergrad, it was just problems like this. It was like, here's your Romania problem. I remember we had this other problem where it was like this big grid, maybe 10 by 10. And what you had to do is and it had like, it was like the most literal grid. And there were constraints about the way that you could drive and all of this at, each individual place and how they connected to the other ones. But at the end of the day, it was like, sure, there was like, I don't know, 100 or so. This is what, 30 maybe, 31 cities. There was like 100, maybe even 1,000. And it's just like, it's just not a big problem, right? Like you can still do it very quickly. But when I got to grad school, they just started throwing much larger problems at you, right? And then you start to realize where these things fall over pretty quickly. So the problem that they gave us was they gave us a map of all of the open street data for the entire southeast region of the US, right? So like if you zoom out, it was like this. It was all the roads in here. And then they were like, okay, like there's a shitload of roads, right? Like a shitload. If you zoom in, even in Atlanta, just Atlanta, the city of Atlanta, if you zoom in, like, look at all these intersections. Look at all these little segments. All of these little things, right? And it's like somehow you're supposed to find directions from one side of Atlanta to the other side of Atlanta when your map is this large, right? And it would just completely fall over on just Atlanta, on just the city of Atlanta, because there were so many points and it had so many things that it had to explore. Even the little, even the, what's the right way to say this? Anyway, the graph itself was just enormously larger, and it's even crazier too. Like if you take like a highway, notice that there's no exits from this highway, but it is curved, and everywhere that there's a bend, it actually records the bend point. How is it done? Right. So you still use A-star search, funny enough. But there were two particular problems that I remember running into. One is the heuristic. The heuristic that you use for something like this is a lookup table. In fact, here is the lookup table. This table on the right is the lookup table. From Bucharest, this is the actual distance to every other city. And then by using that, you can then guide your way around. Excuse me. It's the straight line distance. So like from Sibiu to Bucharest is not 211 miles, or it's not, 210 miles. It's the straight line distance. So if we go to Sibiu, it's 253, right? So it's not quite the like addition of these two things. So it does the quickest route using OSPF. I'm not sure what OSPF is. Oh, no, I don't know what OSPF is. So anyway, what you have to do is you have to come up with a new heuristic. And they don't tell you what heuristics to use in this class, so you had to go look it up for yourself, right? And then once you figured it out, then you had to actually implement it. And another thing that they don't teach you in the book, or they like very briefly like go over in the book, is doing bidirectional search. So you start in the beginning and you start at the end. And conceptually, these two things make sense. Actually, I can draw this to show why they make sense. Right? So if you have a dot right, let's make it bigger. Let's go like this. All right. If you have a city right here and a city right here, the way that an A-star, or the way that a search works is you're basically searching like this, and then you're searching like this, and then you're searching like this, and you can see that these things get bigger and bigger, and like if it were to go off to the left over here, you would see that it's actually searching quite a large area, and eventually you touch it, right? And now we have found it, but we had to search all of these locations. Open shortest path first. Networking thing, really. And someone said to me years ago, it's how Google Maps worked. I am going to guess that that is out of date. Although not that much out of date, because if it was more than about 6 years ago, then it's probably not out of date. All of these things have gotten enormously faster in the last like 6 or 7 years. And so instead, what we do is we search bidirectional. So we search like this on this one, and we search like backwards. And then we search this one, and then we search this, and then we search this, and then we search this, and then we search this. And when we search right here, we find a place that joins these two circles, and the area of these two circles is far less than the area of this one giant black circle collection that I had made, right? And so doing a bidirectional search saves you an enormous amount of time on your search. It turns out, though, that when you use a star search, and to show you how an A star search works, you search like this, and then it knows that the thing is over there, so it starts searching like this, right? It very slowly expands backwards and very quickly expands towards the actual goal, right? And then you run into the same sort of thing where, like, eventually you get there and you capture it. Doing bidirectional A star search can, again, save you like even more time on this. The only problem is the heuristics don't work when you search in both directions, and you have to transform your heuristics. And there are two problems that happen. One was the overall scale, right? No one really knew how to deal with the scale of this. None of us did. None of us came into this class and were like, oh yeah, no, I know the answer. And then the second one was this whole idea about doing bidirectional A star searches and transforming the heuristic took us until literally hours before. I mean, like a whole group of us, literally hours before the assignment was due to figure out how it was supposed to work. And no, to tell you how it actually works is you do something called landmark search. Landmark search is a really interesting search. Here we are. In landmark search, you take what are called landmarks. You might say like, okay, the terminal at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport is a landmark. And so you draw, let me go ahead and do this again. Okay. And so on here, you say like, okay, here's the landmark. I think it's right here, right? And then from right here, you actually calculate the distance to every other place on this map, every single other place, all of them. And you can do that fairly quickly using a breadth first search. It's a pretty standard algorithm. It's super fast. When you have a very large graph, you have to store it in interesting ways to either get it to all fit in memory, or you have to store it on disk. And so what you do is you do this not once, but maybe a dozen times, right? So what you would do is you would not really say, you would do one like, say, in the center of every major city, like Nashville, Indianapolis, Kansas City, Atlanta, Charlotte, Jacksonville, Tampa. And what you end up with is like, I don't know, maybe 60 or 70 of these things for the US. And then what you're doing is you're saying, I want to go from Austin, Texas to not the Space Needle, but just this city. What is this city? It's not Redmond. Seattle, right? Well, it turns out that the overlap between these two locations in terms of the optimal way to go, all of this is going to be overlap. All of this. This is going to be the optimal path from those two cities. So even though I'm not going from like the center of Austin, let's say I'm going from like the stadium at the University of Texas, which I think is like right in this area. We have already got an estimate of how far it is between these two things, because what we can do is we can say, give me an estimate from here to the location that I'm trying to start at, and from here to the location that I'm trying to end at, right? And we already have the answer to those, and then we just subtract them. And then we do it from the opposite way as well. We come up to Seattle and we say, in Seattle, give me the starting point and the ending point, and then we take the difference of those, and then what we can do is we can apply this thing called the triangle inequality, and it will show us some value that is guaranteed to be slightly less than the real distance, and that's the key to making A star work efficiently, right? And that's sort of the thing, is like, if you don't understand that what you're trying to do is come as close as possible to a perfect heuristic, like, that's not in the textbook, no matter where you read it. It's one of those nuggets that you have to like pick up by doing problem after problem after problem, and realizing that as your estimate of the real distance gets better, the amount of different paths that you have to evaluate goes down, and to the point where you can get it to be, even though we're searching all the way across the country, we can do it extremely fast, because we've already solved the majority of the problem by having all of these city-to-city connections. And that is how you end up getting it fast. And I want to say that was published in 2012, and it wasn't done by Google Maps. It was done by a team at Microsoft. But yeah, so that's it. And the most insane thing is, if you get a good compression for these, like, Austin to every other place on the map, if you can compress that quite well, it turns out that you can do quite a bit. You can do, for instance, what is a good way to say this? Like, the entire United States and all the roads in the United States, there's only maybe 30 million segments, as crazy as that sounds. And so 30 million is what, if you can get it down to, say, I don't know, a 16-bit integer, is just not that much data. It's like maybe 30 megabytes, 32 megabytes. And if you have 50 of these, like, you're still under a gig for the entire thing. You can run that on one web server. And it's those sorts of, like, compression problems and the other stuff that is, that we ended up spending all of the time on. But it's interesting, right? And it's like, I went into it thinking I knew everything about A star, and like came out of it learning way more than I knew when I went in. And that was sort of the story, where it was like, I thought I was going to be there and just like, hey, this is how you do this. Yeah, I'm going to be the point person for this one. I'm going to help everybody get this figured out. And then it was like, I don't actually know how to do this as well. And we were all sort of figuring it out together. And that's the thing, is like, when you only apply the really simple problems to stuff, you don't actually learn it. Like, you don't realize where the boundaries of this technology is, or where the boundaries of this technique is that you're trying to apply to this problem. And those sorts of things will lead you down the wrong path, because you might be like, oh yeah, A star search, that's how you do everything. That's how you do search. But if you can't come up with a good heuristic, like if it's impossible to come up with a good heuristic, it's a non-starter. Period, because it will fail when the problem size gets too big. So if you don't want to spend the time putting into coming up with a heuristic, then yeah, you're just wasting your time. But yeah, that's it. A star is hard. Okay, I think that's it for this right now. And I want to say, I bet I could find the paper. It's actually, I can find it. You know why? Because I wrote a blog post about it. I'm pretty sure I wrote a blog post about it. It's gonna be, no, I didn't write a blog post about it. No, it's one of my streams. It's one of my very first streams. Implementing the finding directions problem. Anyway, I did end up implementing this on stream when I first got started. And there is a demo that you can go and you can download from my GitHub that will actually do this for, I don't know if it's cities or countries, but it does it for very large areas. I want to say it's like a bounding box thing. Oh, it's for cities. You can do it for like New York City. You can do it for like Lima, Peru, and things like that. And there's instructions and a little script to help you download the data for other cities. I can't remember exactly where it's at. Ramping up the problem size. It's one of these. Yeah, it's one of these. Anyway, it's in here. Okay. Okay, I think that's it. This is not going to be in the actual published. We're going to move this to drafts. Yes, I want to move it here. Okay. I think that was enough for now. Just simmer on that a little bit. Stream notes. Okay. Draft. What I really learned in grad school. I am really bad about turning on my stream bot, by the way. That's something I should figure out how to do. Let's put that on the list. Figure out how to not forget to turn on your stream bot. In fact, I don't even know how to turn it on. Let's try. Oh, multi-action. That's a good call. CD, culture of development, stream, chatbot. There is one on here. Give me just a minute. I'll see if I can get it running. When there was the frenzy of everybody building chatbots, I was like, yeah, I definitely want to do that. But now I'm like totally on board with Clarkio. I'm like, somebody just build that thing and tell me how to press the button. But I do want it to do the stuff that I want it to do. Like right now, the way that it works is when you turn it on, it will actually record and then put a draft inside my blog with all of the things that happen. Like I got hosted a couple of times. And here somebody cheered me. Here's some cheers and a host. There's some subscriptions in here at some point. There was a couple of raids, right? And it's like, I want it to give me this draft thing because I post all of my blogs, all of my streams to here. I'm just, 40 behind. I should work on that. That's another thing I should spend time doing. Actually get notes out for most of the days of streaming. Back to the point. CD space. I'm gonna say it's in build. Yes. Chatbot.cli. Hey, there it goes. Alright, if one of you starts talking, it should announce you now. Hey, there we go. What's up, Rambling Geek? Okay, okay, let's just do that, right? Multi action. Wait, where's my stream thing? Stream Deck. A new version. Multi-action switch. Yeah, you know what? Just install it. There's another thing that I want to do, which would also be fun. I guess that's where it is. Yeah, there's another thing, and I'm going to put this one on the list too, which was, all right, so everybody has a thing when you subscribe, like, that happens, right? Like, when you subscribe to Clarkio, it's like this big light comes and starts hanging, and it's like, and he starts doing a dance and all that stuff. And then you've got the Michael Jolly, when you subscribe to him, he starts playing the guitar and singing a song with your name in it, which I think he has sort of somewhat automated at this point. Like he recorded himself without saying the name, and then he just listens to it and says the name in the middle. And then there's, other things like that. And sometimes you've got like the little pop-ups that show up and whatever. I've got this idea that I've been wanting to do. That is AI related. And the way that it works is when you subscribe, it will write you a story. It will generate you a story automatically using like a text generation model, right? And it will seed it with the name, like an initial sentence to the name of your, of whatever you subscribed with. And then it will make up a story about you. And that's, excuse me, and that story is yours, right? And maybe you can even like download it and save it or whatever. Or it's emailed to you or something like that. But then, yeah. We close the application and attempt to restart them. No, don't do that. Don't restart OBS at this moment, please. No, don't do that. Removing shortcuts. Whatever. Okay, so what is it? But yeah, that's what I want to do. Make the subscription story generator. And maybe you get a new story every 30 days. Okay. So now I know that this is supposed to like fire off a shell. System. Open? I'm going to go with open. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Okay, this is going to be chatbot. And then that's going to be code, culture of development, stream chatbot, build, this one. Nice. I almost want to turn it off and back on just to see if it works. I'm just going to do it again, right? It'll just open a new one. How do I tell it to open in Commander? I want to tell it to open in Commander. Commander. Okay, let's Google that. Commander open command line? This is stupid. How are you supposed to search for this? It is the command line. console emulator. That's not what it is. It's Commander. Can I get an about? Attach new console settings. Settings? Con emu. Here it is, right here. No, that's... Where the shit is this even installed? It's gonna be in code, tools. Let's see. Do it. Call command via CLI. I want to say it's in here. Yeah, Commander. Commander? I wonder if I can do like... Okay, let's open up... This is stupid. This is so stupid. I want to go I colon backslash tools cmder cmder.exe, and then I want to pass it the actual path and parameter to this I colon backslash culture of development backslash stream chatbot slash build slash chatbot.cli.exe. Do you think this works? Oh, run an auto start yeah, I definitely can't do that. I'm just going to try this. But I don't want to run this. Maybe I do? Oh, look at that. The directory name is invalid. Fuck. Okay, let's do help. That didn't help at all. None of these are helping. Okay. CMDER. Console emulator. Give me some help. Download full. Keyboard shortcuts. Shell. Documentations. README. Wiki. Wiki? That's not helpful at all. Code? Latest release. You know what? Let's go in here and go to settings. I want to say, oh, startup tasks. Okay. New console? I don't really know. commands. Application. Oh, here we go. Application. Add default task. Startup directory. File path. I'm going to try it with new console. Is that how it looked? Settings. New underscore console. Okay, let's try that. I don't feel like this is going to work. No. The file name directory or volume label syntax. You know what? It's because the quotes, maybe? Damn. Oh, what is the /k? Maybe that's the whole problem. Delimit commands with empty lines. Each command creates a tab I don't want a startup directory. File path. Startup directory. No. Okay, new idea. We're just going to try CMD. All right, what was it that you had linked? What is /k? Maybe it is /k. Oh, for CMD. Oh, start. Valid options. That's all you got to do is crap it out. Damn it. Why is the directory name invalid? All right, CMD /k I:\/ culture of development stream chatbot build chatbot. All right, we're just going to do that. Yeah, we're just going to do that. Like, I don't know how to control Commander once it's open. All right, let's close this. Don't actually need that anymore. Okay. We're just going to do it as CMD, and it just is what it is. I want to do CMD /k. Okay. And now I'm just going to press it. Yes. All right, we are good to go. Perfect. Do I want it here or here? Here? Yeah, whatever, here. No, let's put the initializing stuff on the other line. Maybe let's put it here and here. There we go. Those will be scenes, and this will be things you want to do while you're going. So if you create a multi-action, okay, so a multi-action to load up OBS, yes. Multi-action. Stream Deck. Multi-action. I just want to drag those other actions onto my multi-action. No! It would have been so much easier. Fuck it. Okay. You have to do it again? Okay, that's fine. Start stream. Stream. Setup. That's kind of crappy. There we go. Stream setup. That's cool. I like that you can make it multi-line. Okay. Add an action. System. I want to start OBS. That doesn't really work, does it? To start OBS, do you have to do the system thing? Probably. Okay. Let's go OBS 64. Okay. And then we want to open a website. And that's going to be Twitch dashboard. I have OBS stream, then start. Okay. What was the third? We want to open, and this needs to be like the first one. Chatbot. And this is code, culture development, nope, culture development, stream chatbot, build, and this is cmd/k. Okay. I think those are the 3 things that I need to have. I probably want to go ahead and tell it to yeah, you know what? Let's play add stream game title, sub chat, slow chat, stream, create clip, open last clip, no, tweet, yeah, whatever, let's tweet it, title, going live. Actually, I'm not going to put that one in here. I'm going to put that one. I think that's it. That'll open up all my things. I can drag the crap around the screen wherever I need it to be. Okay, get me out of here. Yeah. Delete this. Yeah, delete it. I don't care. Delete that too. Stream setup. I change my name with a red dot on Twitter, then remove it when finished. Nice. Okay, so then I want a second multi-action here that's like to actually go live. Stream Deck. Multi-action? What is a multi-action switch? Whatever. Multi-action. Okay. And then I want this one to be go live. But just on one line. And then in here, I want to say OBS scene programming vs. Yeah, that's the one. Dev scene. And then in here, oh, I should call this VS Code. I should call this VS Code. Because that's what I call it outside. And then in here, also tweet it. Title. Going live. Tweet. And this is going to be stream starting right now. Join us at twitch.tv/Nick_Larson. Ooh, I should put a picture on it. Maybe. Okay, let me catch up with your chat here. I changed my name with a red dot. That's just been added. It is so you can have lots of things turn on first press, then turn off on second button press. Oh, that's kind of cool. That is kind of cool. Okay. Tweet going live. There we go. Starting a code. Code stream. Okay. So now I have the setup stream button, which will open everything, and then I have the go live button. And then I have my scene switchers, which I really only have two scenes. Those two. And then that's it. Maybe I should have no, it's going to be it for now. Okay, man, thanks for your help on that. I really appreciate it. It takes care of something that has been on my list for a while. Okay. Command line arguments, thingerbob, other thingerbob, more thingerbob. Don't need. This is still running. It has recorded stuff. Okay, perfect. All right. Delete. Discard. Close the this one I don't need. Oh, that's weird. Those have the same name. Oh. They were just overwriting each other. That is interesting. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. Nothing actually happened. Okay. Alright, well, that's it. Stream notes about what you actually accomplished today. Nothing. Oh, no, I did. Okay. Well, I think that pretty much takes care of everything. Alright, I'm actually going to go ahead and wrap up for today. Thanks for joining. And yeah, just again, schedule changes. I will be here tomorrow and I will be here on Thursday at my normal time. And then starting next week, I'm going to be streaming 5 days a week, but it's going to be in the mornings. It's going to start around 9:30 and it's going to end around noon or maybe 12:30. And then hopefully by the end of this week, we'll know exactly what we're going to work on. And that's the plan. Yeah. So, thanks again, everybody. And oh, you just bought a new Go XLR, dude. That's awesome. My plan in the near future is this green screen right here that I'm like touching, but you can't tell. Uh, the green screen, I want to get rid of it because I have to like pull it up so it's like basically touching the back of my chair so that it actually covers the whole area of the camera, and it's frustrating. And what I want to do is I'm going to paint the back wall green instead so that I can have the whole room and I can like get up and walk around and still just be like in space. And maybe even like make it bigger. The only problem is right now there is a door on that wall and I have to get rid of the door. It goes to the bathroom and there's a second door to the bathroom like right outside the main door to my office here. So I want to get rid of this door and then paint the wall green. And then the only other concern is, let me just show you. I'm going to stand up. Here's the whole thing. Is back here. I've got this whiteboard, and I would really, really like to keep the whiteboard because I can go up there and I can draw on it. So I'm wondering if maybe a heater in the way. Yeah. It's just this whiteboard. I use it like literally every day, and it would be really nice to not lose that. You'll have to invest in a lapel mic. Well, I actually already did invest in a lapel mic. I do have one. It's not wireless though. It is definitely like you plug it in and it would plug into here, like into this thing. But I did get one already. Have seen you coding train. Have you seen coding train on YouTube? Coding train. No. Man, what is up with my internet? Am I still streaming? Yeah, no, I'm still streaming. Weird. It's just busted, I guess. I have no idea what's up with my internet. He does coding and whiteboard stuff with the screen behind him. Oh, I see. Whiteboard. Nope, not on those. Oh, here you go. Oh, it'd be great if you could actually see what I was looking at.
The foundations of computing through the lens of computer graphics, drawn to.
No! Look at all this you've preloaded. Why are you buffering? You have preloaded minutes. I gotta think this is an issue with Chrome or something.
We are ready to begin.
That's cool. So he's just standing in front of a whiteboard the whole time. Like that's the deal of it. Okay. Wow, everything's crapping out. Actually, no, it's because I have ads turned off, which is fine. This is weird. I wonder if it's everything on YouTube. That's loud. Okay, yeah, it's everything. I don't know what's going on. Maybe my kids left an iPad on or something. Who knows? Anyway, okay. Alright. So that is going to be it. Yeah, thanks for all those links, though. I'm going to check that out. I still got to decide what to do. But I'm going to, like, get rid of this wall and the door that's back here. And no, you didn't keep me. Everything's good. And then, I don't know, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that over the holiday. I got a little time off. I took off, like, the whole month of December. Starting, well, not the whole month, but starting next week. So, yeah, starting next week and then going all the way for 3 weeks. Probably going to take off that last one. And definitely not going to stream on Christmas. But I think all of the other days I will probably stream. Burnt through all my holidays. Yeah. I do that as well most of the time. Like, the only reason I managed to do it this year is I graduated from school and then I promised my wife that I wasn't going to do anything. But normally I'm like, yeah, I am like, give me random days off, whatever day. I don't care. Like, I want time off to just not be around work. And it is sort of nice, like, thinking about how I've got almost 4 weeks off here. I go back on the 2nd, so like 3.5 weeks off. It's going to be awesome. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and take off. Thanks for joining, and hopefully I will see y'all tomorrow, same time, noon Eastern. And I'll have more of an idea about what I want to do tomorrow before tomorrow gets here. All right, have a good one. See y'all.